Hello, beautiful. Can you recall a situation that you've been in before where you've felt guilt or shame about something and you wish that you could just hit the rewind button and take it all back, because then maybe you wouldn't feel so crummy? I'd like to share with you why it is so essential and necessary to have these little moments of perfect imperfections in our life. Why it's necessary for our growth and development. What I'd really like to talk to you about is the yin and the yang. Black and white. The sweet and the sour. Hot versus cold. The highs and the lows. Male versus female. The darkness and the light. So if you can picture an oval in your mind right now, and then imagine a zigzag or a crack going right across the middle of it, like an egg that is just hatched. On one side of this oval, either the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter, lies unconditional love, happiness, abundance, prosperity, faith, wisdom. And the opposite side of the spectrum represents pain, darkness, despair, hopelessness. What I want to ask you to do is to go in really deep, really look inward, and ask yourself if it is possible for either side to exist without its opposition. Can we really experience the highs without having ever experienced the lows? How would we know that we were actually experiencing joy without having ever experienced something to compare that to? How could we even call it joy unless there's a contrasting emotion to weigh that up against? Isn't one side just as equally valid and needed in order for the other one to function, occur, come forth, and sustain itself? Would it be complete without both of these key components involved, is what I'm asking. Now, if you look at this through the eyes of life, what you will notice is that this is what our physical reality is actually made out of. It's the substance that brings everything together as one. What we perceive to be positive in our daily routines, our daily experiences, is not actually fully 100% positive in form. And what we visualize and see as being negative isn't fully and purely negative in form. Because each side of the spectrum is inseparable to one another. and could not exist in this world without the other. The crack going across the oval represents the edges in the middle that are merging and coinciding with the other side. Each is of equal value, and each is flowing and seeping into one another, creating this one whole grand unit. So let's take this a step further. I've spoken with you before about perception and the role that it plays in creation here on earth. The reason that it's so important is because we only have the means and capacity to focus upon this world through our own loving gaze, our own present awareness. We cannot experience thoughts, ideas, or feelings any other way. So because we exist in this way, we take on this identity of self, something that is separate from the world that seems to be out there, apart from us. All of our behaviors are driven and motivated by our own self-interests and passions in life. This means that if we are seeing the world as something that is not merged and united with our own self-driven identity, then you and the world are not inseparably connected, which is completely impossible. This is the grand illusion. The world and our present awareness is one being, one unit. It is whole and complete. We bleed into one another. We are the trees, the mountains, and the sky. We are the thoughts and the pain, the happiness and the sadness. Essentially, we are everything, and everything is us. So how does one carry themselves knowing this? Well, they no longer become so blinded and attached to the ever-changing forms of this world. The good, the bad, and the ugly begin to hold a different meaning for you because you know that you are not tied down to any of that. And this is just the flavor of life here on earth, our home. Life and death are interconnected and completely necessary for our planet to continue evolving and knowing itself in endless, countless, infinite ways. I love